Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I'm bringing you guys Week 13 running back start or sit decisions for fantasy football in 2020. Inside this video, we're going to be talking about all of Sunday slate's games all the way until Tuesday night football, because the games got all mix and match. There's no Thursday night football, but there will be Tuesday night football next week, assuming everything goes good later today with the Steelers versus the Ravens. So with that said, before I get into it, I'd like to ask if that at any point inside this video you end up having a great time, you end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you are new. And if you're not new, please make sure to hit that like button. I would really appreciate that as well. I love all you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support you guys have shown me this season. But it's almost playoff time, and it is time to hammer down. So please make sure to hit that subscribe button, as well as hit that notification bell to get notified for every single video I make. And real quick, before we get into the deep dive of these matchups, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports on the interwebs. They do have two options on their website, the progressive tournaments as well as the matchup shop. But my favorite place to make that young moolah, like my name was Lil Wayne, is on the matchup shop. It's pretty simple. Who scores more fantasy points? Some examples from Monday Night Football. Miles Sanders, -9 fantasy points, or Boston Scott, +9 fantasy points. DK Metcalf -0.5 a point, or Tyler Lockett +0.5 of a point. It is so simple. You can put up as much money as you want, and it is so easy to win. Anyone could do it. You guys do research all week long to win your fantasy football matchup, so why not win some extra cash on top of it on OverlayDFS.com. Again, make sure you guys check it out, OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Let's get into it. Week 13 running back start or sit decisions. We begin with the Cleveland Browns at the Les Titans. Now, this would have been, I don't think this actually would have been Thursday night football. This is just the first game on Sunday, which is just so weird to say when there's no Thursday night football. In this one, I like all the running backs inside of this game. For the Cleveland Browns, it's pretty easy for me. Nick Chubb as well as Kareem Hunt will be heavily used inside of this matchup. Both these Browns running backs are a rag and tag group, going up against a defense that really isn't all that great. Last week, they actually looked pretty solid up against the Indianapolis Colts, but that's just because the offense was shoving their cock down the defense of the Indianapolis Colts. So I think here we see a very run-heavy attack from both sides of the ball. These are two teams that love to run the fucking ball, so Derrick Henry will also be involved in this one for the Tennessee Titans. These are pretty much no-brainer starts at this point in the season, unless they're playing up against the greatest defense ever composed in the NFL. Even in that game, I'm still probably going to be throwing Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Derrick Henry into my lineup. Next one here, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the New York Football Jets. Now, in this one, there's definitely some up-in-the-air play to be said here. Does Josh Jacobs end up suiting up on Sunday up against the Jets? I have no idea. There's reports that he's going to be good. There's other reports that are saying not so good. In my opinion, if I'm Mr. John Gruden, I do not start Josh Jacobs in this game. For one reason and one reason only. This matchup is cupcake. They should be able to smack the ever-living shit out of the Jets, even though they got bent over a table up against the Atlanta Falcons last week. I just feel like there's no way they can lose this matchup to the Jets. So, just sit Josh Jacobs down, let him rest up, because if you guys are a playoff team, you're going to need Mr. Jacobs in the playoffs. If that does end up happening, what I feel like is going to happen, then Devontae Booker is a must-start running back on the week. The Jets' defense is complete and utter dick cheese, and Devontae Booker, who has looked good as of recently, not last week, but weeks before that, he was actually looking pretty solid, even for fantasy football, when he was the backup running back. So I do like Mr. Booker in this one if Jacobs does not suit up. And for the Jumbo Jets, Frank Gore does have a decent matchup up against the Vegas Raiders defense, but I feel like this one is going to be an absolute curb stomp of the New York Football Jets, and they're not going to have too much time to run the ball in this matchup. Next game, here we get the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Minnesota Vikings, and in this one, we have the case of why the fuck is James Conner on the screen? I'm going to have to fire the asshole who makes these graphics, but you know the asshole who makes these graphics, his name is also Nick. It's actually me. So, Jacksonville Jaguars, James Robinson is who I meant to write on the screen. This guy has been, as Snoop Dogg would say, unrizzle. Fo shizzle, hizzle jizzle. Shout out to Snoop Dogg and his commentating over the Mike Tyson versus Roy, whatever that guy's last name is. I know. I'm such an asshole, right? Nick, you don't even know what the fuck the guy's last name is? I don't care. I'm not a huge boxing fan, but I did watch it because I bet on Mike Tyson, and those scums called it as a draw. So James Robinson, back to it. He's going to beat the shit out of the Vikings like Roy Jones, I believe his name was, got beat the shit out of by Mike Tyson. This is going to be a murder on the field from James Robinson. James Robinson has been unreal this season. There is no other way to put it. This guy looks like he probably would have been Rookie of the Year Probably. Had there not have been so many amazing rookies, James Robinson stands alone, in my opinion, at the, maybe he does, not the running back position, right, because there's a bunch of good rookie running backs, but this guy is just crazy as of recently. He absolutely murdered it last week like his name was O.J. Simpson. I like him here again up against the Minnesota Vikings for the Vegas, or not for the Vegas Raiders, for the Minnesota Vikings. I like Dalvin Cook. Now, Dalvin Cook is coming into this one supposedly hurt. He did end up getting hurt last week, so do they even need him in this matchup? I don't know. My assumption is that he plays, though, so I like him here up against the Jaguars. Obviously, if he sits, Alexander Mattison would be the start. But if Dalvin Cook's in the game, you can't be starting Alexander Mattison. Next game, here we got the Cincinnati Bengals at the Miami Dolphins. What could have been for this matchup? Joe Burrow versus Tua Tagovailoa, the battle of the two earliest quarterbacks drafted in 2020. Instead, Ryan Finley, not even Ryan Finley, it's going to be Brandon Allen versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. How interesting, right? That just gets your fucking panties soaked, all right? Start in this game, I'm playing Myles Gaskin, that bitch Carol Gaskin, as well as Giovanni Bernard. Giovanni Bernard has been pretty solid as of recently for fantasy football. The Dolphins' defense is no joke, though, so I don't project him to have like a top 10 game, but he's definitely a safer kind of player when Mixon is gone. Gaskin has been missing. He's been gone for a minute, but he's back now, so sit the fuck back down, because Myles Gaskin, that bitch Carol Gaskin, was very good. Very, very good when he wasn't hurt. This Dolphins offense is going to be humming. Gaskin was good with Tua. He was good with Ryan Fitzpatrick, so it doesn't fucking matter. He's going to slot in as the running back one on the team and run all over a bum-ass Cincinnati Bengals defense. For the Bengals, Samaje Perine is going to be a sit, and Matt Breida is going to be a sit for the Dolphins, because unless Gaskin is gone, Breida pretty much has zero value in this offense. Next game, here we got the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans, and this is a matchup of beauty for the running back position, but it also screams to me, Nick, you're going to be wrong at all these guys, and you're going to look like a fucking dumbass in front of everyone. We've got Hines, who looked all right up against the Titans last week. Jonathan Taylor was on the Rona protocol, but now he's back. They're playing up against one of the easiest defenses to run on in the Houston Texans. We saw Adrian Peterson look very, very stout against them last week on Thanksgiving, so we could be seeing a bit of a nice 1-2 punch, a nice 1-2 Mayweather to the Houston Texans dome. But do we see Hines just phase out now that Taylor's back? Because, right, we saw 2 weeks ago when Taylor played before he got the big Rona, he was just the big, I don't even think he had Corona. I think it was just like some type of contact tracing shit where someone near him got Corona, but he didn't have it, but they wanted to make sure he doesn't give it to his teammates, that kind of stuff. So Jonathan Taylor should be perfectly fine here. So do we see the Jonathan Taylor from 2 weeks ago where he's getting a zillion touches and Nyheim Hines is the cuck in the corner watching, jerking off while Jonathan Taylor smacks up the defense? Or are we going to see what we've seen in the past before that, where it's kind of just a split share and then maybe Hines wins, maybe Jonathan Taylor does? Well, what I do know is Jordan Wilkins isn't going to be winning it because he seems to be hurt and is going to be likely missing this game. So I'm starting both Hines and Taylor, but if I'm being honest with you, while this matchup is amazing, I would probably try to pivot away and start neither of them. But obviously, in a lot of scenarios, you're going to have to start guys like Hines and Jonathan Taylor, and their upside this week is definitely worth starting. For the Texans, Duke Johnson finally did something. Praise be the fantasy football lords, because we need to sing a fucking gospel for Lord Duke Johnson, baby. Duke Johnson looked good on Thanksgiving. It was amazing. It really was. It was a sight to be seen. He made it look so easy and effortless when he's catching the ball, doing all this. Where was this the last, 3 weeks when David Johnson was gone? Nowhere to be fucking found. Here up against the Colts, not the greatest matchup, but not a bad matchup, because we saw Derrick Henry literally bulldoze through them last week, so Duke Johnson's a guy I like this week. But again, if you're on the safer side, you're about putting the condom on, not risking it, Duke Johnson would not be that guy that you want to play if you're looking for a safe play at the running back position. Next game, here we got the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. And did Matt Nagy, see something out of David Montgomery for the 3 weeks the motherfucker was gone? Or however long he's been gone for? What the fuck, man? Matt Nagy, all for the last 2 years of this man's career, he hasn't seen anything that we see on film where he's making these nice plays. The offensive line fucking folds like a table in Buffalo, but David Montgomery still gets foot loose back there. But he just never saw that. But last week up against the Green Bay Packers, David Montgomery literally looked like Bo Jackson or something. Now, that's obviously an exaggeration, but David Montgomery legitimately looked good. This week, he gets the Detroit Lions, but if I know anything about Matt Nagy, this is going to scream game that we all are on board on the David Montgomery train. Choo-choo! And he completely blows his load right on your face, and you're feeling like your name was Remy LaCroix or something. So David Montgomery, he'll be a start for me. I'm firing him up against the Detroit Lions, but I'm a bit worried about it. The Lions, they fire Matt Patricia. And I don't know if you guys are on Twitter, but Matt Patricia's it seems like he has a burner account, and it's absolutely hilarious. So follow me on there because I talk about Matt Patricia's burner. I've retweeted it. It's so fucking funny. But that man's been fired. Now someone else takes over as head coach of the Detroit Lions. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as this guy that's starting as the fucking head coach isn't a complete and utter imbecile, you use DeAndre Swift up against the Bears to beat them. If this guy doesn't have a hole in his head like Matt Patricia did, DeAndre Swift will be good. So I like Swift this week up against the Chi-Town Bears. I'm going to be sitting down Adrian Peterson as well as Kerryon Johnson in this matchup because if Swift is good and healthy to go like I believe he will be, there's no need to start Peterson or Johnson. Next matchup here, we got the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. And the Saints played in what we would call the worst game of football I've ever seen with my own eyes. For the Broncos fans, though, I feel you. I definitely feel you. You had to play a wide receiver as your quarterback, and then the NFL gets down on its knees and gives the gawk 9 fucking thousand. Literally the supreme suck to Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens cock so that they can move their game all the way to Wednesday. And NBC, these fucking frauds. Now, if NBC, you want to hire me, you're not a fraud. I think that's the network this game is being played on. They wanted the lighting of the tree to be on at 8, so they moved the game to 4. Fuck your stupid tree in New York City that I've been to. I like the tree. It looks very nice, obviously. But fuck you, because I don't want to watch the Steelers play the Ravens at 4 o'clock. I just don't. I've got better shit to do, like do my homework, so I could graduate college. With that said, I digress. That was just a complete and utter... I don't even know what I should say about that, but what that game showed about the Denver Broncos versus the New Orleans Saints is that with Taysom Hill, Alvin Kamara's receiving upside has been completely and utterly bent over the table and raw-dogged without the single use of lube, and it was not consensual. I'll tell you that much, because Taysom Hill fucked Alvin Kamara in all the wrong spots, in his ears, in his eyes, in his nostril. I don't even know how to describe it, because Alvin Kamara got bent over, and he did not like it. He does not get used as much with Taysom Hill under center. This matchup is amazing against the Falcons. There's no way in all fuck you're going to be sitting Alvin Kamara, but don't consider him that top 5 running back that you would easily think he could be up against the Atlanta Falcons, unless Drew Brees magically returns, which he will not this week. For the Saints, though, I do like Latavius Murray. Murray is my number 1 waiver wire add this week at the running back position. We saw him blow the back out of the team last week that they ended up playing up against the Denver Broncos. So we could see Latavius Murray heavily involved here again, and the Falcons defense is booty cheeks, except for last week up against the Raiders. For the Falcons, I'm sitting down Todd Gurley. Seems like he could return, but the Saints run defense is no joke. Brian Hill, Ito Smith, unless you're like in a real shit situation, if Todd Gurley is gone, then you are just going to be praying to the fantasy heavens that the one that you start ends up getting the majority of the touches and the actual work. Now, if you guys have ended up enjoying thus far, I'd like to ask if you could please click that subscribe button down below, because again, not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys eat that W like your name was famous Jameis Winston. Next game here, we get the New York Football Giants at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, it seems like Devontae Freeman is going to be gone again. And Bruce Wayne Gallman is going to put the fucking Dark Knight suit on and go to town up against the Seattle Seahawks defense. Now, I'm not trying to say anything about Doug Peterson, but he should have been running the ball with Miles Sanders 7 million fucking times, because Wayne Gallman is going to run a train on the Seattle Seahawks. Wayne Gallman has looked good 4 weeks in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks in a row. Seattle's run defense is ass. Wayne Gallman will be very good in this matchup. Chris Carson, a guy that was a bit worried to start. Now, last week, that worry did show, though, definitely up against the Philadelphia Eagles. We saw Chris Carson not get as much work as I thought he would, or kind of what I assumed was going to happen. Carlos Hyde was getting a lot of touches, but Chris Carson ended up finding the end zone, so you felt happy with that. This week, he gets the Giants, definitely a better defense, in my opinion, to the Philadelphia Eagles. This is a better matchup, though, all around, because I think Chris Carson will see an increased workload in this matchup. Carlos Hyde would be a sit for me because Chris Carson is not hurt. Next game here, we got the Rams at the Arizona Cardinals, and I'm going to fire up Cam Akers, but he has an next to his name because that's how I feel about him. Do you want to start him? Do you not want to? The Rams looked good last week. They used Akers, and they ran well with him. Do they rotate back into the triple-headed backfield of Henderson and Brown? I don't know. You have to have a big set of fucking cojones on you to start Cam Akers. But if you got it, if you've got the nuts to do it, fire him up against the Arizona Cardinals. Kenyon Drake is must start at this point because he scored, I think, twice last week. Could be wrong. I had him on my fantasy team, though. Kyler Murray did complete and utter dick. Kenyon Drake looked good up against the Rams. Definitely a tougher time to defense, so I don't feel like a top 10 matchup for Kenyon Drake, but he's definitely a safe running back 2 for your roster. Next game here, we got the New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers, and what a joke Anthony Lynn is as a head coach. The fact that they allowed this man to get on the bus/plane after that game ended is embarrassing. Anthony Lynn doesn't understand that you need to spike the ball when there's like 20 seconds left and you could score. He doesn't understand that when you're on the 2-yard line and there's 10 seconds left, you shouldn't run the ball, you should throw it. He doesn't understand that you should kick a field goal in that scenario. He doesn't understand anything. This guy has a hole in his fucking head like he was... there's a joke right there that's hilarious, but I will not say it, not trying to get demonetized. Just think about it a little bit. Who has a hole in their head and who has a sick 3-letter name? You got it. 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 But you want to know who else got it? You know who else got it? Austin Eckler, baby. The Eckler-nator came back strong last week. Rock hard Viagra style. Austin Eckler going to get rock hard again up against the Patriots defense. I love Austin Eckler in this matchup. This man had so many targets last week. He's going to get it again up against the New England Patriots. Harris, White, locks in your lineup as well. The Chargers defense sucks. Cock. Joshua Kelly. Sorry if I sounded like a dumbass there, folks. I got a little phlegm in my throat, but Joshua Kelly, not worthy of a start if Austin Eckler is back. The Philadelphia Eagles at the Green Bay Packers. In this one, I like Sanders as well as Aaron Jones. Now, there's definitely going to be people pissed at both of these guys, rightfully so. Aaron Jones should have scored 7 zillion, trillion, optillion, whatever the maximum number is, infinite points up against the Green Bay up against the Chicago Bears. That was an easy matchup. It's easy as 1, 2, 3, A, B, C. That's how easy it was, right? But he doesn't do that great. Miles Sanders, easy matchup against Seattle, doesn't do much. If Doug Peterson fails to give this man the ball a sufficient amount of times, I am going to individually take my car, drive it to Philly, and fucking key the shit out of Doug Peterson's car and cave his head in. Not really. Not going to actually do that. But what the fuck, man? Doug Peterson is unbelievably a bad coach as of recently. He was a good coach in the Super Bowl, has been bad recently. Carson Wentz is a dumpster fire. The Packers defense is good. Miles Sanders is very good, so he should be fine as long as we pray to the fantasy gods that he gets the correct workload. Jamal Williams with 2 A's is going to be a sit for me in this matchup. Next game here, we got the Denver Broncos at the Kansas City Chiefs, and just call me crazy, but this one might be bad again for all the running backs here. I would not hate sitting Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but the fact that the Broncos defense just got a train ran on them by Taysom Hill as well as Latavius Murray, to me it just has to be a no-brainer start. Clyde didn't do much last week. Le'Veon Bell didn't do much last week. Neither of these running backs did well for the Broncos last week, so I don't know what to think, to be honest with you, but the Broncos defense is so bad against the run. Seems like that Clyde Edwards-Helaire should be fine. Gordon, Lindsey are just sits because when they're both on the same team, when they're both fucking healthy, you can't trust either of them. One of them may go off, but you'll never be able to decipher which one it is on a weekly basis. So just go ahead and sit them both and play Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Why? Because I'm confident in the bad defense, but I don't love Clyde as of recently. Now, on to the beginning of the Monday Night Football special. We got 2 games. This one, and then another one after it. And then we got Tuesday football, because who doesn't love football on Tuesday? Washington at the Pittsburgh Steelers. We don't know what the fuck to think about the Steelers because we have not seen them yet. In my opinion, Snell runs wild. And then Connor misses next week as well, and Snell looks good. Twice in a row. That's my hope. That's my opinion. So I'm going to go with Benny Snell here, but if Snell's awful and McFarland's the starter, then switch them out. You put McFarland as the start, Snell as the sit. The Washington football defense is pretty solid, but I do think Benny Snell would look good in this matchup. Antonio Gibson on Thanksgiving had a fucking feast. He had turkey for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then had dessert with pumpkin pie, all that shit. He had whatever your dream Thanksgiving feast is here. That's what he had. He blew the back out of this fucking Dallas defense. Frankly, it was a murder at the hands of Antonio Gibson. J.D. McKissick is going to be a sit because he didn't show too much, but I wouldn't be surprised if he played well, but the Steelers defense is very, very tout, so that's definitely a tough ask for the running back 2 on the team. Second wave of Monday Night Football. We got the Bills at the 49ers, and this one I like Raheem the Dream Mostert up against the Buffalo Bills. When Mostert's healthy, he's a must-start, in my opinion. The 49ers love to run the ball gently down the stream, and when you got the starting running back there, you fucking start him. McKinnon, just the backup bitch to Raheem Mostert. Moss and Singletary both did good up against the Chargers. Who could have guessed? Like, I kind of saw that coming, but at the same time, you kind of have to pivot off of them because they're the parasitic running back duo where they just screw each other over, so I don't feel ultra confident starting either of those in this matchup. Now on to Tuesday night football, because I waited all day for Tuesday night. Whoever said that, but I waited all day for Tuesday night. Cowboys at Ravens. Now, Zeke looked bad. Bad, awful. You go in the Webster's dictionary, you type in bad, you find the fucking synonym for all of those synonyms for that. Okay? Bad, awful, atrocious, dick cheese, not good. All those words. That's what Zeke looked like. The Ravens defense is good, but I'm still playing Zeke. I mean, it's going to be hard to sit Zeke, but if you have other good options around him, I'd probably just lay Zeke straight onto the pine. J.K. Dobbins should play tonight on Wednesday. Should be fine to go next week as well, obviously. Dobbins seems like the big dog in that backfield, the running back to start. But I wouldn't be surprised on a weekly basis. You just can't be surprised if the Ravens just magically start to use Gus Edwards 7 million times in this game, or Ingram 7 million times. Then you feel like a fucking numbskull starting J.K. Dobbins. So thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below, because again, not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. Going once, going twice, sold. That is what I sounded like there, and Auctioneer. I love each and every single one of you motherfuckers. Have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, overlaydfs.com, link down below in the description. I really do love you all. Thank you guys for the support this season. We're going to hit the fucking moon. I love you all. Almost at 11,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your guys' day, and I'll see you beautiful bastards maybe in a couple of hours with another video. Tuesday, or actually Wednesday night football tonight. I love you all. Good boy.